Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander with Bona Adhesives.
I'm Rob Johnson with the Bona Training.
All right. Rob, try to bring the energy up a little bit.
I'm Rob Johnson with the Bona Training.
All right, there we go. Okay,
Okay.
Rob. We have I tell you what, we have a special guest with us today, and the reason this came about for me, we have Madeleine Denebeim is on today, and she's with Bona, and she's on the marketing team, and she does a lot with social media and what have you. And one day I got a call from Sprig Lynn, who I think is Madeleine's agent,
Yeah.
and he called me, goes, "Holy smokes! I just talked to this girl, and man, I can't believe all the knowledge she has. It's incredible. You guys should have her on the podcast." I thought, well, he should work for us, man. That's a great suggestion, and we're happy to do that. And you haven't been with Bona too long, so maybe just give us a little bit about your background and before we get started here, Madeline.
Yeah. So I'm on the pro marketing team and I'm their social media specialist. I get to help out with internally running our Bona US Pro page, as well as consulting and working with our Bona certified craftsmen, and consulting and helping out with their social media and digital marketing strategies, as well as helping our individual sales guys with their individual social media strategies. So lots of plate spinning, always online. I'm your social media girl at Bona.
All right, good stuff. All right, so we, a lot of our clients and customers and our small businesses, small, medium, some large size businesses, and we thought, well, this would be good to kind of get some feedback from you on social media and how I could help them in their businesses and what have you. So we have some questions for you, and the first one actually I have a question for you is uh, crisis management. What approach do you take if a brand faces negative feedback or a social media crisis? Let's say it's a Friday, and a customer blows up your social media. I had a worst experience with these guys, and you're out fishing, you're having a great weekend, and you come home, and a Monday morning you click on social media, and boom, there it
Yeah.
is for the world to see. And everybody likes to see a train wreck. This is where a lot of panic would set in. So how would you handle that? That's a pretty distressing thing for any business to run across.
Absolutely. It can definitely tap into personal feelings, and you have to really remember to be professional and calm, cool, and collected online. I think a big thing, especially for individually owned businesses, is bringing in those other people to look at the situation, especially when it's just you and you're the owner operator and you're operating your social media pages. It can feel like a personal attack. There can be a lot of misunderstandings that you immediately want to jump to and defend. And just take a step back, think about what might have gone wrong, some context that might be at play. To your point, maybe it happened right on a Friday afternoon. That guy was going fishing this weekend and now his weekend is ruined because his floor isn't looking good. We there's a lot at play, so it's always taking a step back, pausing, thinking about your strategy. You don't want to damage your brand. um, that being said, you usually want to take it privately. You don't want to hash out all the details in those social media comments. I definitely recommend replying privately on Facebook. It actually will save the page replied privately so that publicly people still know that you've handled it, you're doing good customer service, but you don't have to air all the dirty laundry out online. You can also sometimes delete it. Sometimes people just really are shouting into the void on social media. You have power to screen those comments. The last thing, though, is social media is the court of public opinion. Sometimes negative press, that doesn't have to, it depends on the situation. But if somebody's making themselves look stupid online because they're telling you did something wrong when you know for a fact you did it right, oftentimes they get corrected by other guys that are backing you up and are on your side and can provide their expertise. And, no, this guy totally did apply it correctly. There's this subfloor and these conditions that I'm not knowledgeable enough to come up with in the moment.
Yeah. It's funny you
So
should
we did a show last week about we had a contractor down in Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
who got trashed, had a bad review, and but I didn't know that you could do that. You can delete their review.
Very great distinction. You can delete comments on your social media posts. You usually cannot delete business reviews, and that's why it's really important to try and not get a customer to escalate their situation to the public forum. So if
Mhm.
it's a Google review, I believe Facebook review, I'm less knowledgeable on Facebook, but for sure Google, you can't delete those. Um, and so you can always reply to those, and it's very important how you reply so that you're still, again, professional, polite, understanding. um
Well, I like that one comment that you said. I think that is perfect, that you can say that, hey, I replied to this, but it's private. And
yes.
then that way people know, yeah, you didn't just, you replied to it because you didn't want to get into a, he said, she said type thing. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I saw just recently is somebody did a brutal, it was of a restaurant, brutal review. And as the person is talking, I'm thinking to myself, that's totally unreasonable. I mean, that is like completely unreasonable that what the guy's saying. And I'm on the restaurant side. I don't, and I'm just hearing what he's saying. And when I looked at the comments, many other people said, you know what, I'm going to go to that, give that restaurant a 5-star review. And a bunch of people said that to make up for the person's that was just completely out of whack. Um, is it a good idea to to if you can get a bunch of good reviews quickly, will it bury that? Will that get,
Mhm.
quickly lost down the line of reviews or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main reason. That's why it's important to distinguish with business reviews. That usually is the best way to offset a negative review, is trying to just get as many positive reviews and just show that that might be an outlier situation. So even if something did go wrong with that customer, at the very least, prospective clients, leads can take a look at your reviews and say, okay, maybe this one thing went wrong. And to your point, Wayne, sometimes it's somebody leaving a crazy review and you actually can very clearly side with the business.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the situation.
And so
So that's how Wayne handles a lot of his bad stuff. He gets friends and family and cousins and, hey, get on there, and he buries them with 20
yeah.
Wayne high-end Wayne reviews.
Give
That
me the
Good
certainly
user,
is a
idea. Good,
give me
strategy.
good
the user
thinking.
review. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll
Um,
just keep putting the bad one in.
yeah. But so a bad one isn't necessarily the end of the world, is it? I mean, you can get past that. I think we really, well, the other thing too, it's so personal because it's your business, it's your everything is, wrapped up in that. So it's hard not to take any personally, like you said. But the worst thing, and you see it sometimes when the business will attack. Man, I saw one. Actually, this guy's a friend of mine that I kind of lost touch with for over the years. And I went, oh yeah, I wonder if he's still in business. He's in retail in the molding business. That's all I'm going to say. And someone wrote him a bad review, and man, he wrote the worst possible. Like so bad that I can't even believe this is my friend. I think somebody else must have wrote this for him. He's usually a nice guy, but his response was so bad that it's
Let's
like,
go to war.
yeah,
One
Yeah.
one other tip that I would recommend, because even I've used it sometimes, is I'm not always fond of AI, but using ChatGPT in situations like this can be really helpful.
Oh, why
I
did you
know,
say that? Why? Here we
only
go.
because
Wayne wrote my wife a poem on
I heard about
AI.
that.
Yeah, now
You're
I'm
coming for
out. Wayne's
Shakespeare.
in. And I'm like, it wasn't him. He just filled in some blanks.
hey,
You'd be surprised. It's all about the prompt, Rob. You have to play around with ChatGPT, play around with the robot. I just refer to it as the robot. I'm not very fond of AI as a whole, but in situations like this, again, especially if you're owner operator and they're attacking you and your integrity and your values and those things that might get a fiery response back, I literally will type out, somebody left this comment. Here's the context and what actually happened on the job. Here's what I want to say, but I know I can't say that publicly. Please help me write a customer service response. Exceptional, exceptional work. The robot
Madeline,
spits it out.
Oh
Madeline,
my
I think what you
gosh,
said
this
there
is unbelievable.
is very, very important. And listen, I have mixed feelings about AI too. However, it's a tool of the trade now. And for people that are not good at expressing themselves, I'm telling you, this may be the best advice ever. if you go on there and put that in AI and let them do it more professional and to sit back and take a breath and look at it, and it is I'm telling you, it's a tool of the trade now, and if you're wise to get on board, whether you like it or not.
I
I hate some aspects of it, but I think that that's very very good advice.
And you
That
can't use, oh,
could be amazing piece of advice. I mean, it, when I see something bad, I you want to go to war. Now that's the way to do it.
and
Put
not for
into
every
the what did
situation.
you say it is? Chat GBT,
Yep,
GP.
that's the main one. There's a bunch of other tools now that you
Uh-huh.
can use.
And let them be
It just translates
the
it.
voice of reason.
Yep. It also helps with language barriers. If English isn't your first language and there might be nuance to what, again, it can be sensitive. Sometimes you really don't know how to reply, let alone publicly. And I use it very rarely. The other thing is, I don't recommend copying and pasting exactly what it says. You can always tell it's a robot.
Yeah.
Anybody who works with AI, I can detect it immediately. It's things like punctuation, certain words that are used. It is very obvious, but it helps you give that idea, that translation of, oh, okay, that's how you handle it. So don't use it. Don't copy and paste it 100%. Maybe it's a response or clipping together different parts of different replies and work with the prompts and the answers, but it can be helpful for crisis management.
Cool.
So don't go to the mattresses right away.
Yeah.
Check in with Chat GBT, GTB, and see what they say.
Alphabet soup. Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So my next question for you, while Rob's thinking of his, is there are a lot of social media platforms out there now. Which
Stand this
platforms do you think would be most beneficial for a small business and why?
Great question. First, think about your customers and your territory, your area. Generally speaking, the main three platforms that you want to advertise your business on are Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok nowadays. YouTube is another good one. Pinterest is another good one. Those can be secondary. Meta owns Facebook and Instagram, so I definitely recommend those two because when you post to one, you can usually link it and post to the other platform. If you only have the bandwidth to focus on one platform, choose one of those. Um, and then the next explanation is really based off age and demographic. What I would say is TikTok is going to be your younger audiences. If you're finding that your customers are younger homeowners, TikTok could be a good audience. I would generally say it's usually Gen Z up to millennial, but that age span is growing constantly.
Yeah.
Of course, there's also a lot of legality up in the air with TikTok, so you don't need to invest all your time in it, but it's a very important platform in the social media space because their algorithm, which is a big word in my job, their algorithm is the strongest out of every single platform. So every platform is aware of what TikTok is doing and trying to sort of emulate what's successful about it. That being said, TikTok is more if you have a younger audience. Instagram is, I would say, your safest bet. It's a visual platform, it's photos, videos, and that's great for homeowners who are looking for inspiration. They use things like hashtags and locators so that you can localize your content to your area, whether it's state, county, city. You can really cater your content and your page to your area. Facebook is another really positive platform. It's more than just images. You can do text posts as well, engage with your local audience. I would say that's a strong platform as well. It ranges a little older. I have to be careful with age as I talk because I am an infant child in this industry. But I'd say Facebook and Instagram are your strongest. And I'm sure we'll talk about it next. It also depends on what type of content you post. So you can segment what you post for each platform based off what does well, all because of the algorithm.
Yeah.
But now I'm rambling.
Yeah. No, no, you're right. That makes sense.
Hey, what kind of content should our listeners, they're floor guys.
Mhm.
So if they're going to post content, what do you recommend and which one do you think would work best?
Definitely. So for platform, I, yeah, the top three of Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok for platforms. But for the actual thing that you're posting, I'm finding in the first 6 months of me starting at Bona, these little conversations that we're having in the industry inspire me. And I get 6 ideas from here's a post we can make, here's a video we can make. Everything is content. This is a phrase I say again and again. Everything is content. So Oh, I can go a couple different ways with this answer. The first being, think about your audience. Posts that do well in our niche, pretend you're speaking to the brand new guy on the job. They've never worked in flooring, giving a little bit of education and giving informative posts of here's how you use certain products, or here's some of the expert tips. Here's what makes my service 5 star. It helps to expand your audience for people who are newer to the industry and share those tips and tricks. So education in social media, it's called edutainment, a combination of education and entertainment. If you find that you're able to produce content that is both educational and entertaining, that can do really, really well. So when that comes to, great, I'm on the job site. What am I taking a photo of? What am I doing? Photos are great. We've sort of evolved from that. Video is king. It's a much stronger piece of content for the algorithm. The algorithm is a monster. It's my job to constantly know what it wants. If you're a Bona certified craftsman, you can email me anytime and I can help you with that for free anytime. But you have to keep up to date with what it wants. So currently, video is really strong. Carousel posts are really strong. That's where you post multiple photos and you swipe between them. The reason those do well is the algorithm pushes it to followers and non-followers more. And carousel posts in particular, the first slide gets pushed once. If somebody skips it, they don't like it, it shows the second photo in the slide a second time. So it pushes that post to people twice instead of once. And that's why that's something that's encouraged, right now in May 2025. It really does change every few weeks, every few months. So a big thing, what I find a lot of people are posting, what they're tagging Bona in is your everyday jobs. It's a standard home, it's a red oak floor, whether it's stained or natural, it's a pretty standard job. If that's your daily job and that's your work and that's your clientele, keep at it. There's a lot of ways to be a little creative with it. So that can be, here's how we bring artistry and extra pizzazz to some of those standard home floors. If you are working on something special like an inlay or a design, any form of design, I can't remember all the vocab.
Yep.
100% highlight that. Everything is content. If you're just filming a bunch of clips, you can edit it and work it out later. You can recreate the story. You can retell the story. And yeah, so trying to do more than just a photo of a floor, even if it's a video, you can at least do a voiceover and retell the story that way. And then it again performs better in the algorithm.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's tips and tricks. Sometimes it's, zoom out from just the job you're doing. If it's a rainy day, hey, here's how I handle higher humidity levels when I'm working on a job site. If it's a hot day, here's how we keep the product safe in the van. Here's how we circumvent and work around when somebody turns on the AC because it's so hot in the house and we have to do something. Again, that's educational. People are going to be interested in it.
Yeah, you never know
Edutainment.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm writing that down.
And
Edutainment.
you never know what's going to resonate with homeowners too. You'll see something that we will think is a mundane task, like trout filling a floor with wood filler.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll see the amount of likes and everything and that resonates with homeowners is completely differently. Sometimes I go, wow, I would not have expected that. That's pretty cool. And just a little bit of creativity in the videos or what have you, or like you said, talking through what you're doing and some tips, I think is huge.
Yeah. I'm a huge proponent for humor as well. So if you guys have jokes inside, maybe not inside jokes, got to keep it appropriate. Always keep that in mind. But if you have jokes on the job or
I guess you've never listened to the show, right?
no, never once.
Okay.
Actually, I listened to this podcast before I even started. It's what I used to learn more about the industry and train. So I was starstruck when I met Wayne and Rob, everyone. These are Bona celebrities, let me tell you. But
oh my gosh.
I was watching that and just writing down every time there was an idea. You guys share so many little bits and things that I've written down and I'm going to steal and turn into social media ideas. An example, this is very Bona specific, but it's just, again, an example. Our power scrubber, that content of pouring out a bucket of dirty water is so satisfying for more than just the homeowner too. It's just satisfying when people are bored scrolling. They're just getting random content. And if you can capitalize and tap into just bored people scrolling down their news
Yeah.
feed, that can, that's less localized. It's not homeowners looking for flooring contractors in your area, but it certainly gets views. And
Yeah.
then, it's just satisfying. It's just dirty water. And so that's one element, but then it's great for your business because Power Scrubber is a really great, efficient, service to offer in addition to refinish. So there's a lot of different ways that you can take one
Yeah.
concept and create 6 different video or social media posts out of it.
It's
I
funny that
can't believe that you mentioned that one because I was doing a school up in Montreal last week, and the power scrubber was the last thing we did. And we brought the entire class into the toilet and dumped out the dirty water. And everybody is oohing and ahhing over dumping this slop water into the toilet. And I just stepped back and I just started cracking up laughing. I'm like, we're
totally.
all standing in the bathroom watching this, like,
Yes.
and
I wish I was there in the
it
background to
it
film it.
was and it was amazing. There was how satisfying it was for a lot of the guys. Like, I just couldn't believe how dirty that water was. Like, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, dirty water in a toilet bowl. Yeah, that
And
was,
Rob, that's concept.
there's
That's
some
content.
content for you. Yeah,
That no,
that's
that
content.
100%. If there's a social media girl, on site there, I'd be standing with my camera in the background laughing at all these guys looking at a toilet crowded in together. That's funny. If you're laughing, your audience is going to laugh at it. I'm already pulling content. One day you'll see this on the Bona page. I have observed that once you guys have done a round of sanding on the floor, all you men crouch down and get all ready, and you get down and you pet the floor. And I already have so much B-roll of men petting floors,
Yeah.
and you hear me narrating, going, "Wow, this really is just the men just pet the floors like it's a sweet little dog walking up to them." And I was in New Orleans and going on job sites with contractors, and it's very fun to laugh at all you guys petting floors, but that's content, that's humor, that can be made a video of men
Yeah.
petting floors. It's just, are you selling your services? Are we selling Bona products? Not necessarily, but people like watching that. It contributes to the community, makes people feel, they'll relate to that. They know the feeling of when they have to pet the floor.
Yeah.
Good content.
Wayne, have you ever heard that one before? This is brand new. I've never heard. From now on, that's what I'm going to say. All right, I want everybody, because I usually do that after the Tampico brush, and I say, everybody get down and feel the floor with the palm. No. From now on, I'm going to tell everybody, get down and pet the floor. Like,
I
pet
love
the
it.
floor.
That's why it's great to have
That's new.
that's why it's great to have an outsider's perspective a lot of times.
Floor petting, men petting floors. That just
I,
sounds,
That's
I,
the point.
yeah,
that's something that, yeah, people are going to tune into that. That could be the name of Wayne's next podcast.
there
Love
you
it.
go.
We'll brand
All
it.
right. Trends and adaptability. How do you stay updated with the latest social media trends, and how often do you recommend adjusting strategy? Uh,
Hmm.
I think that's a good question. I think a lot of this comes up. Times change and what have you. And Also, the other part of this is that people put a lot of energy into social media. We talked about TikTok, and I know some guys can monetize it.
Mhm.
Okay, but so it's another stream income stream for them. But for most people, they're not able to. But they're putting a lot of time and energy into the social media, which a sidetrack question, I guess. But let me go back to my original question for you. For trends and adaptability, how do you stay updated with the latest social media trends, and how often do you recommend changing your strategy?
Perfect. I can combine your two questions
Okay.
into the answer. The first is a simple one. There are tools like Later and Sprout that are social media management tools. One, you can invest in them. We use tools like that. It's not a necessity. The larger thing is they provide resources, blog posts all about strategy. So even I will just search social media strategy May 2025. Later and Sprout are the two that come to mind immediately, but you can find any sort of corporate blog that gives information on that, and they'll share some of those up-to-date things. Things like carousels are really successful because now Instagram is pushing them a second time. That's some of those real strategy tips that you can just get from companies whose whole business it is to help you with marketing on social media. The
Okay.
other element is spending time scrolling. When I'm having conversations with our team internally and I'm just trying to understand what type of language I'm going to use in that conversation, just from things, there's a lot of specific vocab with social media. The first question I ask is, do you scroll? Do you spend any form of time where you said, whoa, I sat down and I watched a video and 30 minutes passed by and I can't believe I sat there for the whole time. That's scrolling. You're scrolling, you're using social media. Because a lot of the times guys will go like, I don't use it. I don't believe in it. Yes, you do. You use it all the time. The whole point of social media and the fact that all of these websites are filming vertical content, putting vertical videos in their website layout is to get you to scroll and lock in and stay on their website. So spend time scrolling. You can just see what other people are posting. You can use hashtags. They're sort of in this limbo. They're kind of dying out. They still have a little bit of usefulness, but go ahead and put in hardwood floors, hardwood flooring. You can check out what's being posted if you're not already following pages that, so your feed is naturally showing wood flooring. You can search that out through hashtags. Now, though, it's your best friend, Rob. It's AI. Now there's robots in every single one of these tools. So when you're typing something into search, AI is already catering the algorithm to fit toward your viewing behavior already. If you're a flooring contractor, it's very likely that your search box, your feed is already being filled with flooring content. Just got to scroll it. If you want to bring that into strategy, have a notepad next to your phone, toggle between that and the notes app and note down what you're seeing, whether that's color trends. That's a big one right now of things are moving toward natural. We're moving away from gray and cool tones. Check out what other people are doing. Take note of if it's in your area or if it's somewhere in a different region. But it's taking notes and just spending time scrolling.
I don't
So
even
that's how people find hardwood floor stuff. Like a homeowner, they'll just go on Instagram and hit hashtag hardwood floors, and then they just start scrolling through that stuff.
A little bit. I usually find homeowners, if they're looking for a specific contractor to work with, they're probably typing in flooring plus their area name. And that's something I recommend. Yes, with your hashtags, you can also geotag your post. So you can just say, I'm in city, state, what have you. But people are searching for flooring contractor, Colorado, flooring contractor, Denver. And if you are meeting those keywords, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a hashtag. It can just be the caption because it's now smart enough to just pull those keywords anyway. But make sure everybody knows where you are in each post. So that's a big one.
I have noticed that sometimes if I see somebody on Instagram or something, I'll kind of click on them and a lot of times you don't know where they're from. They they don't put, I go crazy looking like, where is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And I really can't find it. And I know
Yeah.
I'm not as savvy as you, but you should be able to find that pretty quick and easy.
Yes.
And I have noticed that a lot of guys don't have that information on. And some of these guys have, some amazing content, but I'm like, where the heck are you?
I
Are these
completely
all
agree.
bull riders, Rob? Like
Oh, you see,
wrestlers,
this is what happens, Matt.
wrestling
If I
guys with no
talk
shirts
too
on?
much, yeah, yeah. If I talk too much, this is it. She was about to answer
Linking the
the
leash.
question, and you just jumped all over.
I'll find my time. It's it.
Okay.
Now,
Hey,
what? I was like, I need the question again, though.
sorry. Okay, so a real
What I
quick
was
one.
saying that people don't put in where they're from, and you
Oh,
were,
yes. Because I
yeah.
had a good answer with this, Wayne. That's the only reason I'm taking this and running. It's
Okay,
all
good.
about your bio and the name of your business. I use Instagram as my default. So that's usually, again, Instagram and Facebook are siblings. Um, but if you have a website, not everyone has a website, but if your Instagram handle, your account name is not the same as your website, you need to make sure people know how to find that. And that just might be because the username wasn't available. So you had to say co instead of company or something like that. Make sure people can find you. Put your location, put your website link, put your contact information in your Instagram bio. You can link all of those things, so it's very easy to get to from your profile. Do the same on your Facebook page. Just it's really important to make sure that information is consistent. Make sure your Google business listing has the same information as your social media pages, etc. So when people say, wow, that was cool, that was a cool video, are they in my area, they can easily find you and hire you, hopefully.
By the way, when you were in New Orleans, you had this camera that you loved. So can you maybe share that? Because there's a lot of cameras out there and what have you. Maybe share which one that you really like for doing videos and stuff like that with the audience.
Certainly. I gotta get in touch with DJI, the camera company. I need a little cut of this because I really sell this camera. It's fantastic. And unfortunately, I don't even have it with me today. Otherwise, I would do a full QVC segment and show you all the features because it's a
Oh,
cool little device. It's
we'll have to
called
have you back for that.
happily. Once I'm sponsored, Wayne. Once we gotta work on my brand deals
There
first.
you
No, I'm
go.
kidding. That is called the DJI Pocket Osmo 3. It's a social media camera that lets you do horizontal and vertical filming and it has a gimbal attached. So it smooths out that shakiness that can come from an iPhone or phone footage and produces really professional looking content that's pretty easy. Then, if you're editing it yourself, it's easier for you to process, edit, post, and it looks more professional. So that's if you have the budget to invest in a camera and not quite the budget to work with videographers or people to help you make photographers, videographers, people to make that content for you. That's definitely one route. It is an investment. It's something if you're committed and know that you have the time and are willing to spend the effort on social media, that's a great investment. A
So,
modern iPhone, though, is also great. And I want to emphasize just wipe that camera. It really has a huge impact. Wipe your camera lens before you take a clip. Make sure the lighting looks okay. We talked earlier about guys, if you monetize your content, how do I get my page bigger? How do I get more followers? Quality is everything. So if it's a clear footage, if the audio is clear, if it's not shaky, that makes a huge difference. And you can absolutely achieve that with your phones nowadays.
okay, I gotta get this out because it bugs the hell out of me. I see so many guys do videos that they're going so fast with the camera that's like, dude, slow down. I want to really, really see this and take my time. And they're just flying through the room with the camera, and you're just like, I can't even follow this. Number
Mhm.
one, and number two, can you say that brand of the camera again? And if you don't mind, what that kind of investment would cost for somebody?
Yeah. So it's, excuse me, it's the DJI Pocket Osmo 3. I think let's see. Ooh, again, the prices might be different now just with all the things that are changing.
Yeah.
I think it's about $800 for just the camera. You can get accessories in a full kit that will run you somewhere just short of $1,000 for all of the content creator elements. I certainly recommend them. It's a great balance between a really user friendly and professional camera equipment. So if you're willing to make that investment, that's what I did. It's what I really enjoy. I don't know. I don't know if I should be shilling a camera.
Yeah. No, I think it's and you're really great quality of the stuff you do, and I think if you really want to up your game, man, that seems like $1,000 would be a pretty good investment for that. Um, how about collaboration? How do you collaborate with other marketing channels or departments to ensure a cohesive marketing strategy?
Internally or externally? I can answer both.
Externally.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about vocab on social media. There's collaborate, the verb, and then there's Instagram collaborate. And that's one of the first things I'd recommend you do. It's one step up from tagging people. Actually, that's the first thing you should do. Make sure you're tagging everybody involved in that post. When it's a Bona training, tag Bona training. That's me. I'll see it. Tag Bona Pro US. That's me. I will also see it. Tag all the Bona guys who are there. Tag the individual contractors. Tag if it was an NWFA training. Tag them. Tag everybody who's relevant because that's just more audiences. It helps them. They can reshare it to their pages, etc. Collaborating, though, is one step up from tagging, and it's a great feature because it shares the post so that, let's say, Bona posted something and I wanted to tag Wayne and Rob so that it's posted on all three of our pages. I'll invite you guys to collaborate. You would accept the invitation. And then instead of three separate posts posted by individual accounts, it's one post with a pooled likes and comments. And at the top, it will say posted by Bona Pro US, Bona Wayne, Bona Rob. And it allows your page, your audience to be shared with those other pages' audiences. So in the case with Bona's account, you can, if you tag Bona Pro US, that lets me see it. And that's an at tag, not a hashtag. At tags notify people. But if you want to have it be on our page, you can invite us to collaborate. And then it makes a post, it looks like Bona's post, and it goes to our audience of 20,000 people and helps spread your content far and wide. And I absolutely recommend doing collaboration posts with us and anybody relevant to the post that you made.
So if somebody does a hashtag Bona training, you don't see it. But if they do at Bona training, you will get it.
I get a notification, and
okay.
That's it. Audience, if you want Bona to see it, because this is a thing, please do the at tag. I can search by hashtag. That's if I have time to search and give myself time to scroll, but I don't always have time to do that. So if you tag me, I'll be sure to see it.
So when you say
hashtags are on their way out, I get it.
Yeah, you used to be able to follow by hashtag. So that would be, I'm interested in hardwood flooring. I want to follow the concept of hardwood flooring. And then you would get posts from people you don't follow. That's gone away. You can still search by hashtag. You can still tag your content by hashtag, but you can't. Instagram is not putting as much of their effort and money and research into hashtags. And again, that's why read those monthly strategies, Google, current social media strategy, any of those publications will share insights into where hashtags are at and how you should best use them.
So when you say collaborating, all that is just putting at?
No, that at is just tagging. When you are, Chris, maybe we do some visualizers and I'll take screenshots and add them in, or we'll make content for this in the future. But you'll go to tag options and you can tag a person or invite collaborators. And
gotcha.
That's for if it's their post as well.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And then I'll share one more tip. If you want if you want us to collaborate, we absolutely love seeing user-generated content. That's what it's called in the social media space, UGC, user-generated content. We love to see it. Be conscious of who else you're tagging. If you're trying to get a brand's attention, perhaps just tag that brand. Perhaps don't tag everybody else, because we as marketers can't necessarily share. We have to share certain posts. So if you ever tag at bonapro.us, I'll see it. That's me behind that account. I'd love to reshare it, engage it, comment. I want to support you guys. And if you can support Bona, if it's a Bona post and you're showing the love for Bona post, then that's going to make it more likely that I can reshare it to a broader audience.
So you sent me all these questions that you wanted to talk to her about.
Yeah.
Did you go on AI for this?
How dare you?
You did, didn't you? There's no way that you wrote like this. Okay.
Unbelievable. Yes.
No way you wrote this stuff. Now you either find it and screenshot it or you went AI. So what'd you do?
I'm not even going to help you anymore. How can you even lower yourself to ask me a question like that?
Because I know that you did not write these questions.
The goodness of my heart, I tried to help you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
You just wrote all these questions right off the top of your head, huh?
I did. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, let me read one of the questions. I'm trying to rob them up, okay? But let me read one of the questions that Wayne wrote here. Can you share examples of businesses similar to ours that have successfully leveraged social media? You wrote that. My butt, you wrote that.
With this hand.
Yeah.
With this hand. Unbelievable.
Am I allowed back in the match? Are we safe?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Answer that. Can you answer that, Wayne? Question number 12.
I will, with a very easy plug. My agent, Spriglin of Universal Floors. He gets 10% for booking me on the Bona podcast. I was on a phone call and he said, you should be on this podcast. 20 minutes later, I got a text, and oh my gosh, I got an email from all of you guys who produced this saying, Madeleine, we hear you're supposed to be on this. Sprig got it done for me. He is an incredible example of content for social media.
People don't realize Sprig really is in charge of Bona.
Pretty much.
He's running it from the shadows.
We appreciate it. He does good stuff, I think, at least from social media. But he's got a unique example where he's showing these incredible one-of-a-kind job sites. If you're ever doing something unique, please show that off. It certainly does well. Trying to think of specific ones.
What do you do with all the videos and pictures I send you?
I sit on them and I let them cook. Well,
It's
so
more of
with
a circular
the
file.
training account is a little bit not on pause. Since I started, I'm focused just keeping up with our main page and figuring out the strategy we want to do with that. I'm very aware of I need to get posted. I save them. I want to work on posting. Those will get uploaded to our training page and it will be more live of here's what's going on with it. I just been a little busy.
Okay.
It'll happen. I'm
Yeah.
working on it. If not, but tell Danny and he'll come over. We strategize. We'll come up with some ideas.
So you want me to send my stuff to Danny now?
No, I talk about all my ideas for training
Danny's not
pages.
busy enough. I gotta lay stuff on him now.
No, I'm not trying to get
I'm
Danny.
already
I
laying
don't know his
enough on him.
schedule. I just
Um,
yeah.
so, what was a question I had for you until he interrupted again? I forgot what it
Well, I
was.
have to interrupt because you never stop talking. If
Yeah.
you know,
Um,
you must be good at like underwater swimming and stuff. You never
yeah.
take a breath.
Yeah, you know I can't swim. Okay, so I know I remember I was going to ask you, Madeline. So let's say Rob and I talk about it a lot. I mean, by selling the Green Guard Gold products and what have you, and really putting them out there. We know that that's a hot topic for a lot of clients now.
Mhm.
And with Bona, it's not just a buzzword we use. It's just not something we jumped in lately. Obviously, it's part of our, DNA and our CSR from the very beginning. So for something like that, if you're like you're finding like a niche area of the business, is that a good thing to focus on? And does it make sense to have like a brand voice across all the platforms with that?
Yes. You definitely want to have a brand voice. It's you want to have people be able to identify you no matter what platform they're on. So things like making sure your logo is shown clearly either on the post itself as your profile picture, things like that. It's very important to have a strong brand voice. um what was the other part? um
Uh, about the Green Guard Gold products.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So making sure that you have important content topics that you're hitting on consistently is really valuable. In social media, we call those content pillars. They're just categories that you talk about. It can be formal, like what your business stands upon. It can also be pretty informal. Sometimes we post something funny, but not every time. Sometimes we want to teach guys, it's a video of us talking to the camera teaching. Sometimes it's just panning over a job site. Those can be content pillars: job site, education, humor. This is usually how I break things down or tag it internally. It's my own notes of just so I can make sure I'm not doing too much of one thing. Sustainability is absolutely something we take seriously at Bona. It's something we want to make sure we talk about without greenwashing. So it's something I'm posting about being conscious of. I would say for contractors or any businesses in our industry, come up with a couple content pillars. You usually want no more than 5. Um, and it's whatever brings value to your business. So if you offer, a couple businesses, Jace Flooring and Cleaning do great posts. I'm thinking of a couple off the top of my head, and they've segmented their social media so that they have Jace Cleaning, which is a smaller page, but they've said if part of your business is doing deep cleans and using the power scrubber, make that part of your business. And so I would say they made a content pillar just posting about deep cleans. That if that's a service you offer that is less common or really valuable in your area, that's a content pillar. If sustainability is important to your customers, if people are calling and if they're educating themselves and going, what is PFAS? I don't even know what that is, but I don't want it in my floor. Be prepared for that. If you have content on your page that educates them, it helps them know more before they even call you. They're educated and empowered to talk about this stuff. But also if it adds value to your business, if talk about it. That's everything is content. That's the content you should be posting about.
What
I
did
think.
you mean by greenwashing?
Greenwashing is a term across marketing when you overly push sustainability. You it can be it's sort of a gray area ethically. You don't want to oversell if something is sustainable, or more sustainable than others. It's also sort of subjective words. This all started with natural. That's where it began about 10 years ago. Is this product is all natural. What does natural mean? This product has no toxic chemicals. This is such a silly one because everything is a chemical. Water is a chemical. So it's going into the semantics of, well, what does that word mean? And it's usually something that's recommended. You have to be really careful about. You don't want to say the wrong thing or position yourself one way and then have your
Yeah.
actions be something
Yeah.
else.
And then all of a sudden, every manufacturer was putting green leaves on whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, we Adam busy with Floors by the Shore, uh,
Mm-hmm.
is probably one of the best I've ever seen at putting educational content out there. First of all, he's on some amazing job sites. They do phenomenal work. But for educational purposes, like even for contractors, like he puts a lot of great content out there, and it resonates. You know what I mean? I mean, it's impressive. So when you see it done very well, it really it's powerful. I've also seen guys put some off-putting stuff, and I always think it's such a mistake even if it's funny, and I got a, I got a sense of humor too. I mean, I work in construction jobs, I get it. But when I see it on a page in a professional setting, it's off-putting to me. You know what I mean? And so I got to believe it is with customers and clients too. I think you have to be careful with that too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have somebody in marketing or PR, whether they're hired at your company or you just know them in real life, go ahead and get eyes on, have them see it. Even if it's just different people, different perspectives, try and find people who don't have the same sense of humor or background as you just to double check that it lands well. I too have seen posts that sometimes I wish I could privately comment as the Bona page of like, hey, you really shouldn't have this represent your brand. This makes you not look good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and yeah, it's just how you position your page, and it can just fall flat
yeah.
and be received poorly.
Okay, so Madeline, I have two more questions for you. One is like, who do you think the contractor's ideal customer is on social media, and how do we reach them effectively?
I divide it sort of into two categories. The first would be your leads, your ideal customers. Those are homeowners in your area. Um, that would be where some of the educational content comes into play. Hey, here's the differences in floors or hardwoods. Not sure what to pick? Contact us. We can help you out if you live in so and so area. So creating content specifically for homeowners who are searching for contractors in their area, that's one. That's your localized audience. If you want to grow your business, brand recognition, if you're trying to go national, then your audience is larger. And that's where it's sort of level two. You need to be really conscious of what the algorithm is and how that works and produce more of that generally entertaining content, still educational, but less in your niche. So that would be something silly, men petting floors. That might not tap into educating the homeowners and in making the homeowners jump up and call you so that you can book their business, but it shows them, wow, these guys are real people and funny, and they put passion in their job, but also they're real people. So it still educates them in some way, but then it taps into other people, construction at large, that relatable humor of the overall industry. Bored teenagers scrolling on their TikToks who will laugh at men petting floors because of course they will. It's very funny to watch you guys do that. There's sort of that grander just social media that's just fun. Humor is where that can come into play. Again, you have to be careful with it. You can't push it too far. But just generally speaking, sometimes it's just satisfying. If it's just a quiet video of you doing stain samples, God, those do well. I like watching them. People just like watching them outside. They'll ask questions. They may have not known the process, all the different products used, but again, everything is content. So it just depends on how you make it.
Okay. Good stuff. And my last question for you is, so how do you measure, how do you measure success on social media campaigns, and what indicators do you track to say like, oh, this is really working?
Definitely. We refer to that as engagement. It's likes, comments. You can see if somebody sent it, whether they reposted something to their page or sent it to privately to a friend to go, hey, look at this product. Bona just posted this. Check it out. That's my goal. I hope you're all doing that. You should. I can tell. Please do it. Comment, like, subscribe, all of it. So those are your KPIs. That's what you use to measure your performance. If you're using, there are tools, social media management tools. I mentioned some earlier, Sprout later. Those are the ones I've used before. They sort of will consolidate all of that data and help you have a larger picture of performance over time. So if you gained or lost followers from something, sometimes if you post a video and it's really bad or offensive, maybe a lot of people unfollow, and you need to pay attention to that to make sure maybe we'll go positive. If it's something that gains you a lot of followers, maybe post a couple more videos or posts about whatever you did to get those followers. Mm-hmm. So those would be your main measurements of success. You can use tools, social media management tools, to measure them. My big PSA though at the end of this, don't buy bots, bot likes or followers. People can tell. So the biggest measurement for that is if somebody has hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, but 50 likes and nobody ever comments on their page, maybe some of those followers aren't real. Alternatively, maybe if it's really random pages and they're all commenting hearts and love this so much, so beautiful. I'm calling myself out because sometimes I comment these things from Bona's page when I don't know what to say on the floor. I'll take the heat. I'll do a fire emoji when I'm like, yeah, great job, guys. But sometimes if you're getting too many of those generic comments, or if you're seeing a post and why do they have so much engagement, and you're seeing all of those sort of just empty feeling comments, trust your gut. If it seems robotic, it very well may be, or it's a real person who was paid like overseas, and that's also a thing. It's I think they're called engagement farms, and it's people's literal 9 to 5 jobs.
Hard lesson for me was when Sandra Bullock reached out to me, and I had to realize that
Wayne, you're her one and only. What do you mean?
This might not be Sandra Bullock after all.
Sandy?
All right, Madeleine, you've been fantastic. And what I would love to do with you is have you back and maybe do a deep dive on just very specific things. And for our listeners, if you have something you would like Madeleine to focus in on, shoot us an email. And I'll give you Rob's email again, is rob.johnson@bona.com. And we would love to probably have her back and answer some of those questions. And but thank you, Madeleine. This has been fantastic. It's really, especially for Rob and I, as we're in that age
we're
group,
old,
so we don't do a lot of social media.
Well, you guys have to be nice to yourself. I'm literally honored to be on this podcast. You guys have taught me so much, whether you know it or not. I've learned everything about the flooring industry from you guys. So I'm very grateful to be here and would love to come on.
Are you ever in trouble?
I like talking. You got to be careful inviting me on a podcast.
Well, Madeleine, it's been fantastic. A lot of great information. Thank you for sharing the information about your camera, because you do such great work with that. That's really cool. And a lot of great tips, really techniques and tips and stuff for everybody. And you've been awesome. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. It was awesome. Thank you.
All righty. And this has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode. Shut up, Rob.